Hello ladies and gentlemen, PlayAsia supplied me with this copy of this game, so if you want to support me and the channel, use the link in the description to go and buy something, and there's also a coupon code you can use to save a couple of bucks off your order. You'll be helping me out and hopefully you'll be buying something good. Thanks for your support, enjoy the show. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out... Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon Familia myth? Infinite Combat. You'll have to forgive me, that title is a mouthful. Now, I have to admit I've made an error. A pretty big one. Although, in my defense, I couldn't have possibly seen this coming. Although, to be fair, I probably could have seen it coming, but still. It was surprisingly hard to see coming. So, this is the English version that I'm playing on Switch, and... there was a Japanese version of this game. They released it on Vita, Switch, PS4, you know, the usual set of suspects. I could have gone for that, but I actually like this series. I've seen the first season of the anime, and that's about it. I haven't had time to get around to the second season or the spin-off that stars Eyes Wallenstein. But I do like the series. I do think it's got its benefits. It's pretty generic, and it's kind of hard to enjoy if you're not capable of going through overly generic stuff, but I still enjoy it. So I thought to myself, I'm gonna get the English version. That was the mistake, because the English version of this game is unbelievably bad. Like, it's not Hollow Fragments localization bad. Not the original localization, and we're not talking about the fixed one, we're talking about the original one, but it's getting to around that level. Now, where did I put the game case? I put the game case here somewhere, there it is. Just let me grab that, hopefully it doesn't knock out the HDMI cable, there we go. So, it's got a slip case on the back, and the English on it doesn't start out terrible. A huge city with a magnificent underground labyrinth known as Dungeon, the excitement of the unknown, the glorious honor and romance with cute girls. In this place, all human dreams and desires are hidden. A young boy met a little god. And it's like, it's okay. It's a little rough, but you think, you know, it'll be alright for a localization. Boy, was I wrong. So, after I saw in the very first intro scene that there was a bad line, a very awkwardly written line, I started taking screenshots. I had to stop around screenshot number 25. I've only been playing this game for an hour and a half. Allow me to show you, and yes, we're going to be playing Switch games for a while after this. So, we'll start from the beginning. I'm going to read all these lines to you, because I just need you to understand how many bad lines there are in the first hour. And I will say this is not all of them. There are lines that you can only get by doing things like side quests, which I completely skipped. So there might have been even more bad lines in them. Excuse me. Throw away the freedom life and enjoy this extremely inconvenient world, says Hestia. If something happens, I will cry and live for life. Don't forget it. I got it. Then I go now. Sure, but something wrong? Good. It's important not to forget your first resolution. I never forgot mine, 640 by 480. It may save your life in emergency. Prepare carefully. It's too late to notice what you forget. Next, defeat Goblin. Even if you say so. Hey, Riviera, don't you get ready? But that's too stupid, the mage neglects to chant, being frozen with a monster. I'll talk about the future. Come to the main office. But you're an executive of the Loki Familia. I expected you showed a room to observe the opponents. This is my honest impression. What? As long as you admire someone, you're a wimp forever. Now, the one on the left is okay. The older twin sister of Tiona, she behaves meekly in front of a loved one. Once she is out of control, she turns into a berserker. But the one on the right is ridiculous. The younger twin sister of Tione. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. An innocent girl, but feeling inferior because compared to other Amazoness women, her figure is not shapely enough. That's one sentence. Elven mage. She has her immense potential with dedicated knowledge and skills, abilities, for magic and fairly rare magic. So, magic and fairly rare magic. Okay, I didn't realize you have to separate them. Not many level 1 adventurers who've only been going into the dungeon for 2 weeks would survive a Minosaur attack. That's not even close to how you spell Minotaur. You want me to care you? You'll never pick up an innocent and pure girl or a virgin you're looking for in a brutal place like that. That's just an awkward line. That doesn't sound anything like what she would say. Goddess, you're hurried, right? If you run while sprawling forward, you will definitely fall down. I always say like that. I will repeat that from now on too. Don't forget it. Find out magic book in the limit time. And apparently someone named Yes is saying you are. That was all in the first hour. I'm not even kidding. It is terrible. It is legitimately shit. It is one of the most amusing localizations I've had the opportunity to play, but that's just because of how poorly it's been translated. Clearly someone didn't go over this with, like, I say a fine-tooth comb, but seriously, the giant combs they had to comb the desert in Spaceballs would have at least picked up some of these errors. Good God. Alright, but let's actually go take a look around at things like our options first. There's a few things here, like being able to skip text, set your system voice, which is nice because Hestia is Bestia. Some voice settings, some controls, which you can change into a couple of different options, but I think it's fine to just, like, keep it like this. There's no real reason to. There's no real reason to change it as far as I can tell. And you got your galleries and your manual. Oh yeah, I remember I actually looked at this. It's about as bad. Hestia is apparently an archive on the second floor of an old bookshop. I missed that line. God damn it, I actually looked at that before and I completely missed that line. Okay. Let's just load into my game. As I said before, I've only been playing this for like an hour and a half. So, I don't have that much in the way of experience with the gameplay, but trust me, I've got enough. So, you can go to the guild to get quests. You can go to the market, which will let you buy things, sell things, enhance weapons by using dropped items. So if I select an item, you can see that I've got goblins' tusks, and I can use them. And if you've got enough of them, you can do things like improve the weapon in terms of its overall attack and defense. You can also grant it a tribute, so you can give it like aqua, fire, whatever. You can give it anything you want, and again, it works the same way. You just need dropped items from enemies. As far as I can tell, at least so far, it's entirely possible they might add this later, but all dropped items can contribute to anything, and there's nothing else it can really do with weapons, so you just throw whatever sticks to the wall. Nothing particularly interesting about it. Then you've got the bar, which lets you talk to a few characters. I'm pretty early on in the story, so I don't have that many people to talk to. Let's see if they've got any bad lines in this conversation. You came to pay money properly, a bit awkward, but okay. Sorry for bothering you. Whoops, wrong button. I'm looking for the auto. There we go. Well, that could have been ever so slightly better, but still, the writing quality isn't fantastic either. Even when the writing is even when they actually bothered to edit the text. The thing about Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon is, despite what the title might make you think, the protagonist, Belle Crenell, who's this guy on the right here, is actually a really nice guy. Now, there's a lot of people say the problem with like harem anime, where there's a lot of girls, one guy, and they all crush on him for whatever reason. They say that the problem is that he's usually either A, incredibly stupid, or B, a gigantic asshole who tries to go with all of them at once. Bell isn't like that, at least in the anime. He's a incredibly nice person. He'll do anything to help out anyone. And he's got his sights set on one lady, and basically never deviates, even when, well, despite the fact that Hestia is Bestia, for one thing, but even when he's got, like, people like Hestia all over him, basically, he's still like, no, I'm only interested in eyes. And he's just incredibly likable as a result. The fact that he just never deviates from being just that nice guy with one set goal in mind, even if that set goal is a lady, but it just doesn't come through here. That's the main problem with the writing. They haven't done it well enough to really exacerbate his, I say exacerbate, but really show his character. It just all comes off a bit rough, especially in some parts where he has his internal monologue, and it makes him seem like a lot more of an asshole, just due to the way the writing is surprisingly awkwardly done. Anyway, continuing on. So, the Familia, we can talk to Hestia, which I want to do, because I will say it again and again. Have you already visited the place you should go to? Where? Where? Yes, I could avoid to leave Goddess alone. Yep, another bad line. Okay. So the main idea here is that you got your skill sheet, and you can use your skill points to up particular skills and stats, and I imagine that you're also going to get magic later on. It's all relatively basic stuff. You earn skill points via defeating enemies. Every time you defeat an enemy, you get a certain amount of skill points. That's pretty much the long and the short of it. The thing is, the game is actually really shallow. At least in these first couple of hours. It might get better when the end game comes along, but the end game is still a pretty long distance away, because Belle's got 10 chapters, and Eyes actually has her own chapters, but she's got about 6 of them. And the gameplay barely changes between the two of them, despite the fact that Eyes is something like 50 levels ahead of Belle, so you think she would at least have a little bit going on, but apparently not. So we can talk to the lovely, I can't remember what her name is, quest giver, and we can get quests. So my business tools were stolen by Kobold. A group of killer ants are gathering. If this goes on, it's going to be dangerous. No, it doesn't really matter which one I pick. The gameplay's going to be the fucking same anyway. So you get new side quests as you go, but you have to do them as they come in each chapter. Get 5 business tools back in the limit time. Again, with the limit time. Well, what's the deal with that? Okay, moving on. So, here's the drill with the gameplay. There are a few mechanics I'm not going to be able to show you in this particular video. Well, I might get lucky, but Belle does get, like, magic later on that he can use. But you start the game out with just one pitiful little attack, and that's pretty much it. So, here's how the combat plays out across the first 90 minutes of the game. You have a regular attack, and you have a special attack that you can do with the X button, which does like 2.5 times the regular amount of damage, right? You also have a dodge button, which if you tap, it'll send you backwards, Dark Souls style, right? And you want to try and avoid being hit as much as possible. And your basic attack chain on your starting weapon for both Belle and Eyes has a 6 attack chain. So, you do your first 5 attacks. During your first 5 attacks, you can basically run away or backflip or whatever at any time, right? I'm just going to check the map to make sure. Yeah, the last 2 must be up the top there. You've got your first 5 attacks, which you can backflip in at any time. And then there's number 6, which stops you in place completely. and leaves you vulnerable, which is not great because when you're working with entirely melee attacks, you will be... When you're working with entirely melee attacks, you'll be within melee range of pretty much whatever it is you're fighting, right? So when you do your 6th attack, you'll be stopped in place, you'll take damage, and then you'll get to start your attack chain up again. However, I found that if you just hit A 5 times, or even better, you can just hammer away at it. As long as you don't do your 6th attack, you'll be able to backflip. So it goes attack, 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 backflip, attack, 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 backflip, attack, 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 backflip. You just do that constantly. You don't even have to worry about doing the 5th attack. Sometimes, as long as you can just, like, get out of the way. If you're not comfortable with getting the timing down on that, which, honestly, it's not as hard as it looks, so don't worry too much about it. But you can just do, like, 4 or 5 attacks, backflip, and just keep doing that forever. It makes the game really simple. You do get magic attacks and, like, assist characters. Oh, unless you do something stupid like this. There we go. Getting yourself back into a wall. That's done. Don't even need a backflip with these bastards. Huh. But yeah, as I was saying, you do get, like, assist... Bloody hell. You do get assist attacks later on, which are basically just the game being like, okay, this meter charged up, now you can attack everything on screen at once. And I'm like, sure, really? Okay, whatever. And I haven't seen what a magic attack looks like yet, but I imagine it's the same sort of thing. It's just the tiring that's got me. You can see both the crystals you get in the top right there, which is basically just the cash, and you've also got your drops on the right there, like Killer Ant's Jaw. And you see how many skill points you get. So unless there's some mechanics that haven't been revealed to me yet, this is basically it. It just ends up being thoroughly dull as a result. Even the story quests don't change anything up much. They recycle environments like crazy. The dungeons don't seem to have any particular, like... excuse me. The dungeons don't seem to have any real sort of variety to them. And the actual combat is just thoroughly boring. I'm just going to hold skip to go through this text because none of it's interesting. I mean, now that I've got more... Now that I've got a decent amount of money, I can go and buy, like, a decent set of armor, maybe? Some better weaponry? Screw it. Let's just buy that and equip it. Why not? There's some items here. Nothing particularly out of the ordinary. Change my equipment. Oh, I can't actually use it. Well, that sucks. Honestly, I shouldn't be surprised, but that really sucks. That's probably going to go to someone else later, but... Man, that's legitimately dumb as hell. Seems a bit weird that they don't like automatically equip these items to, you know, give you a little bit of an advantage, but you know, with all the other problems this game has, I can't say I'm surprised. So the way the story setup in this game works is that you've got a story quest you have to do out here. And once you do that, most of the time it'll put you back here in the menus sometimes. But a lot of the time you'll just go straight onto a... I'm just going to skip all this. I do not care. The writing is not going to be even remotely amusing to me anymore. I don't even know if they're... Like, it appears that I just can't outright skip the event. It's not great. But yeah, anyway, back to the discussion of the story. So, sometimes when you do the story quest, you'll let you go into the next chapter. It's been swapping back and forth between Eyes and Belle, but Eyes only has 6 chapters, so it's not like that can last forever. And then there's probably some kind of end game going on. As for whether or not the story tells you what you need to know about the universe, kinda, sorta. It does explain the very basics, but the thing about is it wrong to try to pick up girls in dungeon is it uses some weird well, not weird, but it uses some weirdly generic RPG style mechanics, right? So, you find yourself with, like, some of the really basic stuff, like attack, strength, dexterity, speed, what have you. And the world kind of sort of plays it off as, like, being generic enough to be funny. But it basically just explains the really basic stuff and then doesn't say something along the lines of, also these RPG mechanics are actually ingrained into the world. Because there's this little thing that happens to Belle early on in the story, which is like he gets a special ability that as long as his mind is focused on trying to win over Eyes' heart, his skills go up a ridiculous amount. And you think to yourself, oh, that's just his character in this, like, generic RPG. That's what his character does. But no, it's actually a part of the story, but of course the writing is so bad that it really can't make little details like that. It just kind of misses them out completely, or writes them so poorly that you've got no idea that it's meant to be special. It's just a little weird in that sort of thing. So, it does explain the absolute basics, which is the gods got bored and decided to come down and live with humans. And all they can really do now is give humans the ability to fight monsters in the dungeon. That is pretty much the long and the short of it when it comes to this game's plot. But again, the writing is just so bad that I wouldn't try taking the full story out of this anyway. And these dungeon crawling missions are just thoroughly unsatisfying for multiple reasons, which I've already brought up. The bare bones basic combat, which you can just backflip away from all the time. The recycled layouts, the boring dungeon designs, the enemies that don't seem to have that much in the way of variance. Like, sure, the termites back away from you and the war shadows can attack you from long distance and what have you, but it all still feels like it comes down to the same sort of shit. Oh great, we got another story quest with Belle, because of course we do. But look, you've seen everything there is to see. I mean, there is voice acting. I'll stop and I'll let you listen to it in the background. And, like, it is the original VAs as far as I can tell.
何かあったんでしょうか。
Wait a minute, doesn't the Silverback escape from, like, the Colosseum? Did we skip the entire Colosseum plot? I think we did. Yeah, we kind of did. That's weird. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip to the end of this. Also, skipping is actually quite slow. Like, for a visual novel game of this kind, the skipping is actually impressively slow. At least the CG is nice. I'm telling you, man, this scene carries a lot more... Yeah, of course I got the bloody Hestia knife. Right after I buy the goddamn rapier. I should have known that was going to happen, but I didn't expect it to come that quickly. Oh look, a boss fight. Those chains aren't very well done, I gotta say. Also, you couldn't have put some, like, actual grooves on or something? Man, my attack range is short. Is this gonna be the entire boss fight? No, he actually does have another kind of attack. Oh. Doesn't seem to be any method to his madness, unfortunately. Just seems like he picks out at random what moves to do. I am really surprised that actually hit me. Oh god. Yeah, it just seems like it picks out entirely at random what moves to do. At least if there was a pattern, you know when it was safe to actually go in and attack him, but there doesn't seem to be a pattern, just random bullshit. That scene has a lot more impact than the anime, I gotta tell ya. Also, no jiggle physics on the 2D scene. 0 out of 10. Also, 20 skill points for that, that's bollocks. Absolute bollocks. But yeah, that's the chapter. It's just that. Terrible writing, piss poor representation of the overall story, and really thin on the ground gameplay that just isn't fun at all. At least one of those would be a positive if I played the Japanese version on Vita, where I wouldn't be able to read the damn story. But, man, I gotta tell you, it's not good. It's not good at all. It is actually really bad. Like, even Azure Lane Crossway, which just by pure chance I played, like, right before... well, not right before this, the video came out right before this, but, yeah. Horrific. Legitimately horrific. I'm surprised, like, this game got delayed, like, 3 times, by the way. So, I don't know how it turned out this bad. I really don't. But it did. There you go then. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.